Greetings and salutations, internet viewers. It's good to see you. Sad circumstances we find ourselves in. Just in case you haven't been paying attention, they're making some changes to how they recruit new victims of the Epstein class. They're bringing back the draft. Now, it hasn't been enacted yet, but starting in, I believe, December, it'll be 18 to 26-year-olds will be automatically enrolled into the draft, and like it's like a six-figure payment if you avoid enrolling. It's convoluted, but it's like their way of just making sure they have more victims to go out and fight for the pedophiles who are being blackmailed into continuing World War III. It is pretty disgusting, but I would like to put some new criteria for us to choose who gets to fight these wars. Well, or choose who gets to choose these wars. Like, I have a personal belief that if you are mentioned in the Epstein files thousands of times, like, you can't speak ill of anyone who is mentioned in the Epstein files fewer times than you. All right. So if you are, let's say, an American politician, let's pick one at the top, Donald Trump, right? Mentioned thousands of times in the Epstein files. You look at Iranian leadership, none of them are mentioned in the Epstein files. So you have to keep anybody in Iran's entire Iran, the country, just keep it out of your mouth. You can't speak ill about them unless you're like, you know what? I wish I would have hung out with the Iranians more so I wouldn't be on a pedophile island sacrificing children, committing cannibalism. I really regret that. You should only be able to say good things about the people who are mentioned in the files fewer times than you. That's one of my first pitches. And if we are going to be going to war, if we don't take in that new way of prescribing war, the first people who are front lines, they're the people who are mentioned the most in Epstein files. And if you have thousands of mentions, like let's say the president, you don't get any weapons. You just have to go out there, no arms, and just hope that they show mercy on you. And that'll be like, it's an alternative for prisons because, that prison industrial complex, it's expensive. So if we just send them off to foreign countries, maybe they'll learn some manners. Maybe the Shah or the Ayatollah will take him under his wing and show him like how to live a righteous life without pedophiling and cannibalizing children. I don't know. Can't say for sure what the outcome will be, but I know it'll be better than sending off a bunch of kids who had nothing to do, benefit nothing from these wars, to fight a bunch of people who ain't worried about us, outside of the fact that we're bombing their children. And it's just like, the people who are raping children are bombing children. That was like the first attack in Iran was a school with hundreds of little girls. That's like the first people of virgin sacrifice. And now they just want to get these kids to go out and kill some more. And it's just like, yeah, let's get the pedophiles out there first. Let's put all the pedophiles on the front line. And this just kind of goes to show these motherfuckers love sacrificing the poor. And like they expect us to be the ones who hold the line, to do all the dirty work, to go after the big burly enemies, the scary ones. But when they got like the little helpless little kids on islands, they'll do their dirty work there because like there's not much fight back, and that makes them feel tough. cutting up a helpless little person. And I think we need to figure out a way to appeal to some of the Epstein class folks, because in a way I feel bad for some of them. There are some of them, like I was looking at, it was a chick, was in LeMay or something. She hangs out with a lot of rappers. She gives them like jewelry and little trinkets, probably cursed, probably got like Satan's blood on it. I don't know. That's some fucked up shit. But then they have like these little spirit cooking things. This is in the public, where they have like it's a chick, Abramovich. She'll have simulation human bodies that like they cook and eat it, but it's like it's not human. The stuff that we get to see, it's not really human, but it looks very human like. They don't have it like human mask and the blood. They have like some cranberry juice for blood, and it looks very realistic. And I know there are people who go to these events. They're like, "Oh, that's some weird shit," but this is, I'm getting that money, baby. So it's like you just kind of just be around these weird white people. You just like, the checks is cashing, so I'll allow it. Then they invite you to an island, and it's just like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where Dennis he's like, yeah, the implications. So we're gonna molest these girls? No, we don't have to, because the implications they know, and they got some implications on these islands, and you probably ended up, meeting a cute bartender. You see people bringing their kids there, and you just think it's a family thing. You end up with like hooking up with a cute bartender. Then you see people eating that little the what you think is a fake human, like they were eating on the land around the normies. Like, man, they really like eating that fake human stuff. Then you start seeing the fake human start moving and screaming for help. Then like they finish it off and kill it, and you just there. And the only way for you to get home is to be around these pedophiles and catch one of their planes or their ships or whatever. So you just kind of just go home with this secret, just shut up and just keep cashing the checks. And then, the bartender, they just so happen to be underage too. Then you just fuck. So it's like, you can't say anything because they'll be like, well, you're a pedophile. So if you mention our cannibalism, you'll be in trouble too. And the person who's technically a pedophile, who probably wants to roll over on the cannibal pedophiles, who are like fucking actual kids, who are clearly kids, we need to give them an outlet. Like, like you want to roll over on the real scum, and you just like this was your first party, you didn't know that's how they got down. We should have some kind of an outreach for those kinds of people, the middle men, like the motherfuckers who are they're barely pedophiles. It's fucked up. But the good pedophiles, as it were, we're FaceTiming basically. Well, there we go. I mean, that's one way to look at it. Is that a quality issue? I don't know. Maybe I need to clean my screen. But yeah. We're just trying to figure out how to recruit the new army for the pedophiles. And I personally don't think any poor person should be enlisting. I wish all my family would never have done worked for the government. Didn't serve any of them. And they think that they're fighting for the country. The country's gotten worse. They were fighting for pedophiles since the inception of the country. And now it's just overtly blatant. Motherfuckers can't hide it. And I think the front line should be filled with Epstein clients with no weapons. Like they're the ones who want us to fight these countries. So you send them out to the country and let them fight without a weapon. Maybe they'll learn diplomacy. Maybe they'll just face justice. And maybe the people will be kind to them, lock them up. Maybe they'll treat them like they've treated the children, the ones that they sexually abused and eaten. I don't know. Frankly, I don't want to know. I mean, I think the only real way to de-escalate World War III is to show the people we've been terrorizing good faith and just give them the criminals. Let them handle it. I mean, at the very minimum, they take away all that money. This is what we need to do. We need to bring them to justice, liquidate all of their assets, because then we're talking about trillions of dollars. Just Elon Musk alone, he's got almost $1 trillion by himself. And it's all stolen money. It's lucre, ill-gotten. So we send him to Iran, China. We liquidate all his funds. We take away all of that, the protections that he has that prevents us from having better cars like the ones they got in China. This motherfucker is working with the Epstein list to prevent us from having better options. There's no love lost when we start like making these billionaires walk the plank. And just, you can give them a camera, just like put one of those body cams on them, and then just send them out to a war torn area that they destroyed with no weapons, none. And I just want to see what they do to them. I haven't watched a reality TV show in ages that I'll start watching again. Just watch the billionaires just like trying to explain themselves. Like, sorry, I had to abduct a few of your kids and eat them because it's what everyone else was doing. It's like in the history books, the Mossad history books that we get fed, McGraw-Hill, it's all bullshit. But we used to have these conversations, because I was one of those people like, George Washington, he had slaves, and all these people who created the founding documents, they were slave masters. And then I heard just about every teacher I had, their excuse was, yeah, but for the time, that's just what they were doing. That was like a normal thing. So for the time, they were very, ahead of the time. Like they were pretty progressive for where they were socially. It's just like, yeah, they say the same shit. Like, yeah, I was engaging in some cannibalism, but relative to everyone else, I was basically vegan. I ate very, all the people I ate were at least vegetarians. They were children, usually virgins. I don't know. Hi, Nate's clean. Well, you say that, but you don't know that. You can't smell through the thing unless you smell me. Not at all. Phil's personal conversation with the investment I have in the speech. Well, I appreciate it. We're having this intimacy, and it's good to be with you. Oh, shite. Battery's low. Uno momento. Yeah. I forgot to check the battery before hopping on. You can say that's my bad. Ooh. They say, yo, I'd learn it if they were in the front lines. Yeah, front lines that'll change your perspective. And like we really just, it's hard for a lot of people to understand because we get this whole narrative about billionaires earning where they got, and I heard like poor motherfuckers who are not in the billionaire class, like they regurgitate their propaganda, which is not doing them any favors. Multiple people. I always introduce this, to people because it's hard to conceptualize $1 billion. But I'm always like, what would you get? What could you get with $2 billion that you couldn't get with one? And most people they get stumped because they couldn't imagine spending more than $1 billion. Because $1 billion just to spend that's its own job. right? If I were to just take a day out, I mean, I wouldn't. It wouldn't be a day. That would be a lifetime endeavor for me to try to figure out how to spend $1 billion, because that's $50 million in interest alone. Right? That's like, so you forget one day of spending money. It's just like you're going to have more money, and that's another job of just spending fifth. Like, can you imagine spending $50 million in a year? What would you even buy? Are you just going to keep buying house and house and house and house, more houses than you can live in? You're going to keep buying more cars than you could drive, right? What are they saving up for? And then you start looking at the Epstein files, and it's like, oh, of course, they're buying human beings. They're hunting them. They're just bored, right? And it's just like, motherfucker, uh, uh just if we were to just attach a camera, and we should put cameras on all of these motherfuckers who are getting subsidies, right? Because what are you doing? Like, how are you earning your money that you're stealing from us? Like, all they're really doing, they're just going to the politicians and buying them up, and that's really, if we followed them with a camera, that's really what we would see. Just them facilitating more corruption. But some people, they be like, yeah, I don't care if I can't spend $1 billion. They earned it. They earned 100 or plus $1 billion. They earned it. So why should we take it? I'm like, they earned it. They earned all of those subsidies, because it's like nobody like Tesla didn't sell 1 billion cars for Elon Musk to make the money, right? So he's the richest man. We got richer than all these other car company CEOs, and he didn't never invested or invented a Tesla. Never invented shit. He bought up stuff that already existed. Bought up Twitter, called it X. Bought up all this shit, and then he just gets noted as being the smart person when he didn't invent shit. He's just connected to with the Epstein class, and yeah, and then he steals subsidies. He's a welfare queen, and then he comes from a long line of them. Like that's what the emeralds in South Africa. His family thought that they owned that shit too. They're the most entitled people in the world. And then they complained about people getting Social Security. He called it a Ponzi scheme. You crooks. So it's just like these motherfuckers have been stealing from us. And I'm using him as an example, but it's all of them, right? You can't make $1 billion without a huge crime. And we're talking about people who have hundreds of billions of dollars. So, and like, the Epstein files, they're engaged in some of the just most perverse shit. So why not take back all the money they stole from us and turn their life of poverty into a reality show as we send them off to war-torn areas that they destroy? They get to experience the ramifications of their decisions, of their greed. And then they have all of the wealth that they made off of the destruction taken away from them. And then they'd probably start getting popped by kids. It'd be like little Iranian kids, Iraqi children. They'd be like, you killed my family. And they'd like beat their asses with no weapons. Who wouldn't pay? Like Bill Gates, he's wanted, right? I think he has a warrant out in Denmark, or it's one of the Nordic countries. He's been wanted in India, but he kind of warned that over. He brought up the government. But there's millions of people who want him to suffer, right? Who wouldn't pay to see him have to go to India and watch some little poor dirty kids just start whooping his ass? Because he had it coming for a minute, and we just take away all his money, we take away all his privilege, and we just give him a camera crew to film him just getting his ass whooped by children. That's a show. I would pay to see that. I don't know about you, But like every time people start talking about get the guillotines out, let's kill them. I'm like, I want to see them suffer. I want to see the show of them just getting their asses whooped by third world country children. Right? And plus, like killing them is not going to do our public relations any justice. What do you want? He wants to see it. That's why he's just like, you talking about Bill Gates suffering because it's Anubis. I got him. His previous owners had to give him up. One of his owners was related to Bill Gates. He ate him whole. Like he ate him. He left no bones. He's literally trained in eating the rich. The only reason he chose me is because I'm the first human he met with a single digit credit score. And I worked hard. I tripled my score. So I got it to double digits. But apparently that's still kind of low. And that's why he fucks with me so hard because I'm in the struggle. And he knows like someone as broke as me is not going to be in the Epstein files. Did you see the stuff going with Trump wanting to use OpenAI to have autonomous weapons to bomb Iran? Yeah, it was a company that was like they didn't want to write off. And I've been saying this shit for years. We are going to be the ones to program our own destruction, right? Because the people who are profiting off of this shit, the people who are the faces of all this technology, they do not create it. The engineers, they come from the third world country. So Google, they had something called Project Maven. That's when they were using AI. The engineers were programming this AI that was bombing people, getting the wrong person like 90% of the time. Once they realized, that Google had this partnership with the Pentagon, and all of their hard work was being used to kill people that looked like them, they protested it, right? And now there was another AI company. They were like, we'll go along with a lot of what the Pentagon wants, but we don't want to have AI doing mass surveillance domestically, and we don't want it to use like fully autonomous weapons. And I found that notable. Found that it's noble. But yeah, it's a lot of unscrupulous people who will be down with it. Like the fall of humanity will be put together brick by brick due to their greed. And these motherfuckers never seen any of the Terminator films, or they just don't care. But we really need to rein in these psychopaths. And it's just like we have a limited window because they're getting a bunch of poor people to create these weapons. They're like trying to progressively nudge them into going against the humanity's best interest. And it's just like right now we got to get them. We need to have a team of people, bunker busters. Because right now the rich people, they're expecting to run to their bunkers once like the nukes start happening. And they think that's going to save them. But right now they're still poking their heads up. Trump, he's still like having public events. Marco Rubio, all of these disgusting people, while they're still out in public, we need to have like a code word for everyone to just like no, okay, this war criminal is over here right now publicly. Let's surround them. Let's make sure that they don't find safety. They don't have enough protection for the amount of people we're going to bring. And then we just extract them like they did to Maduro. They're okay with what they did to Maduro. So turn around is fair play. We extract them and we send them to Iran. We send them to China. Send them to Venezuela. Send them to Russia. Right? And once we start like getting rid of these, because the AI shit, the stuff we see publicly is just the tip of the iceberg. So it's just like before they can unveil all of this real evil shit, like we really gotta act, and it's time to act because I'm through with speeches. Jewelry on a million, love it. Damn straight. They so yo, I learn it. They were in the front lines, yeah. Bragging rights to say you have 2 instead of 1. I guess that baby meat ain't cheap. It's succulent. Now I knew it was like people who putting together like compilations of like some of the shit that these rich motherfuckers have been saying. That shit was always suspicious. Like it was them comparing like biting into expensive ass pizza to like child flesh or cutting into steak. It's like cutting into the skin of a baby. Like who compares any of that shit to eating children? People who've eaten children, obviously. It was just like very suspicious these. Whew. We gotta. I personally, this is why I can't be a martyr because my mission will not be finished until I see the smug look wiped off of these little fuckers' faces. You know, like Bill Gates, like when he's, you know, like really in his mode, he's like laughing and giggling. That shit makes me sick. Cause I know he's laughing because he's doing fucked up shit. Right. Same with Elon Musk. And it's just like they have this, they've done the wrong thing their entire lives and they've been rewarded. Right. You know, and it's just like they've stolen from people their entire lives. They've been rewarded and they felt it was, they were entitled to it. You know, and it's because they like, I sacrificed the virgin children to the right God, you know, and it's like these motherfuckers. We got to see that smug look wiped off of their faces. I've been away so long. Why happened to Mayor? We talking about Mayor, my dog. Man, that was that was like 2 dogs ago. Mayor, when I moved to LA, which was like in 2010 or 11, yeah, I left him with a friend. Friend put him out in the street the same day. So I got like a notification um, that he was being put up for adoption. I was going out to pick him up. I called up making sure he was there, and they already adopted him. Yeah, so fun, silly Willy. Yeah, so that was a while ago. Then I had Major, um, and he died back in 2019. Then, yeah, I got Anubis last year. I was looking for a cat actually, and his previous owners they paid like over $3,000 for him. Like he's a purebred Shih Tzu, but they couldn't keep him, and they chose me to look after him. They're like, you look like you can give him a good home, and he liked me, and yeah, so we've been kicking it ever since. I spent more time around him than he spent alone or without not in my presence. Awareness and reform is important as self-reflection and refinement. And that's first, then we can get to the universe to reciprocate what's in us. Well, I mean, it's always darkest before the light. So multiple civilizations, they talk about like this, these cycles, right? And we are entering a reform cycle. Well, technically it already started, but big part of it is people waking up. And it's a lot of people who are waking up, you know, after the Epstein files, just kind of just revealing what I've been saying for years. Not just we're run by psychotic pedophiles, but like it's a lot of people who were tearing people like me head off for uh, um, pointing out the fact that Bill Gates is a psychotic pedophile, and like his ties with Epstein and him, like he's not a doctor, uh, and I didn't trust any part of his vaccine. Right, this motherfucker, he made viruses and then he sold people an antivirus. He is not a moral individual. So him being in charge of medicine, even though he never went to school for medicine, he's just a monopolist. That was like I didn't need to read the Epstein files to realize, no, I'm not taking this shot. Hell no. I was trying to convey my concerns to a lot of people who were just like they needed to hear like someone like Fauci, Anthony Fauci. He was a professional. He was like the snake oil salesman. Like, yeah, I got these vaccines. Look at my credentials. He didn't say, hey, I was trying to give you guys an AIDS vaccine back in 1984. This is deadly. We were experimenting on children, predominantly black orphans. He didn't say all of that shit. I was aware of that shit. I mean, because as soon as like I see what's going on, I'm like, let me look into this motherfucker's background. But yeah, I was trying to make people aware of it, but I didn't have the credentials that these crooks have, so they bedazzle you with the nonsense. I give you the real shit. But with the newest leak of the Epstein stuff, he was in talks with Epstein and other pedophiles about what to do with the pores, and they were talking about a final solution. And I mean, shit. One of the first videos I did after COVID hit, probably the first employee evaluation, I included a clip from TED Talks where Bill Gates was talking about the population is too high. He was like, with proper medication, we can cut the world's population down by 10 to 15%. This motherfucker was openly like, we get the right medicines out here, we'll kill 10 to 15% of all people. This motherfucker, like, his parents worked for Planned Parenthood, eugenicist organization. Margaret Sanger, one of the founders, she's a Klan member, called Negroes Weeds. Yeah, so it's just like suspicious. I was, I didn't need the Epstein files to try to wake you guys up. A lot of people were not as receptive, and plus, like they Google, they shut down any non-authoritative news source. So even though I was proven to be right, I didn't get any of that algorithm. They algorithmically suppressed my shit. And then they shut down all my channels on top of that. So it's like, we don't want any of this shit. Just shut it all down. But yeah, good times. But you can kill a million flowers, you can't stop the spring. Now it's just like everybody it was just a matter of time. And now it's just like all the people who are pushing that shit, they have no authority. No one wants to listen to. Who's going to go to Rachel Maddow and use that as a news source? You think that's at all credible? The person is like, yeah, you take this shot, you will not get COVID, you will not spread COVID, you'll be good, you're gonna save grandma. But if your neighbor doesn't get it, your vaccine won't work. Just like your deodorant doesn't work unless everyone else around you puts on the same deodorant. Yeah, the logic isn't logicking. Trump tried with Anthropic first. Yeah, Anthropic, that was the name of the AI company. And they said hell no, but Sam Altman said yes with conditions. Conditions being it has to be lawful use. Yeah, lawful when the law is written by criminals. But Trump and them can change laws whenever. Yes. Criminals, like this is, we got the Epstein list making our laws. And we're talking about lawful. Yeah, and you don't expect any of these motherfuckers to turn themselves in. Like, you know what? I was hanging out with pedophiles who are eating children. You know what? I'm going to lock myself up. None of them are going to do that. We need to decide what is lawful. We need to decide who needs to face justice, and we need to bring them to justice. I'm willing to work with anyone to do that, to make that happen. I'll work with an Iranian. I'll work with the Venezuelan. That's why it's just like whoever the news tells me to hate, I do the opposite. So it's like when COVID hit, it was like all of this anti-Asian hate. You got to hate the Asian. They eat bats, and they got this. First thing I do, I was like, I'm gonna get in a relationship with an Asian. Fuck that shit. I will not hate who y'all tell me to hate. Um, and they tell you to hate the Iranian. They're so horrible. Ayatollah Khomeini never mentioned in Epstein files. Never. He's never sacrificed a child. Never molested one. Never eaten one. Matter of fact, this motherfucker, he said, he knowingly died. He stayed in his compound. He was like, my people don't have shelters. I don't have a shelter. Netanyahu, first thing he tried to do, run to Germany. Unfortunately, he was intercepted by Hamas, and they tortured him for 48 hours, waterboarding him with fecal matter from porta potties that they got at a music festival, and he died. R.I.P. to Netanyahu. If you see a video of him that they say came out recently, it's AI. But yeah, he was drowned in shit water. And you guys might be saying that's just wishful thinking, but if you go to Nateflix.net, I got the video up. It's 48 hours of him being tortured with a fecal water solution. It's hard to watch. He was such a great guy. A lot of people, you guys would never want to watch anything bad happening to him, let alone just shit water just being used to drown him. I get teared up thinking about it. But it's proven to not be AI. I can't show it on any of the social media stuff, but Nateflix.net if you want to watch it. And if you see any videos that they say is him that came out after the 48 hours torture, it's clearly AI. Run it through any website, it'll tell you it's AI, but not the video of him being drowned in shit water. R.I.P. because he was rotting in piss when they found them. Yeah, but Sam Altman, I think it was him. Was he the one who was in a video? Who was called out because one of the people under him was talking about all of the laws that they were breaking, and the person mysteriously died, and it was the cat's mom said that Sam Altman was the reason why he died. Yeah, and you just think of all of the crazy shit, when they took down my channels, they said it was misinformation, me questioning the COVID vaccine, misinformation. One of the misinformation strikes was me posting Senate hearing of them talking about the side effects of the COVID vaccine. And these were doctors. They tell you can't listen to the doctors, listen to the people, the authoritative news sources, right? So I brought in the doctors who were talking about the uptick in cancer, and it was like they had brain fog, they had all of these other ailments, blood clots, strokes, heart attacks. There was an uptick in everything in people who took the vaccine. And I was just showcasing them discussing it. And to my for my role, I was cynical of what they were saying. I was like, I was calling them right wing. I was trying to get past the censor. This was like after I already got 2 strikes on the Nateflix channel or one of my channels that was still active. but I had two strikes on it, so I was just like playing what they were saying. I was just like, you know what? They're full of shit. I was like, I trust the authoritative news sources, but I was just showing that there is an alternative perspective to what we're being told. And then I was, I also had video of people who were just so pro vaccine. They were just amped to get it. One of them like was a comedian. She was giving a bit about like, yeah, I got all my vaccines, got the measles and mumps and all this shit. And she was like, yeah, these crazy conspiracy theorists. Then she passed out on stage. People thought it was a bit at first, but yeah, after that, she came out as anti-vaccine for some reason. And then it was like a newscaster. They were talking about you got to have your vaccines. She crashed out. There was a nurse. She was like, yeah, I just got my vaccine. She was giving an interview. She crashed out. I was just showcasing the people who were celebrating the vaccine and their reaction to getting the vaccine. And that was that was like the final strike on one of my channels. And yeah, so it's they do not want you to question shit. And that's how you know that, like, the empire is just built on a card of lies, a house of cards. It's just like you can't question it. That's because they know they're full of shit. And yeah, I encourage anybody, like, because we're going to run into something similar again. This is why, man. I would like a circle of people who were able to say no to all of the propaganda. I love to be around just people who just, said no to a vaccine. It was a chick. She made a video. She was talking about being anti-vax, and yeah, and I do think it is like when it comes to dating. Someone was asking me about like what dating is like. I mean, of all it's all kinds of shit. I just have to just openly just say no to immediately. It's just you just reach a certain age, you have a level of wisdom. You can't fuck around. But one of the things, I really don't want someone who got the vaccine. And I know a lot of people, they're super nice now. They really regret what they did, right? They're just, like, if I could go back, I wouldn't do it. But then if we went back, and I knew you back then, you'll be saying all this fucked up shit to me, like, because everybody I know who got the vaccine, it's not like it's a personal choice. I don't care what you do. It was like, you didn't get it. Well, then my vaccine's not going to work. You're fucking you fucking idiot. So you think all of these doctors, how much medical school they went to? You're a fucking idiot. You didn't go to any. Like, this is the reaction I was getting when I was like just questioning it. And I was just like, and I know a lot of the people who are super nice to me now, and they're like, they're open to all kinds of shit. I know they were that person, and they may, like, if they had the exact same experience again, they may react a little differently, but like the next vaccines are going to be pushed differently, and if you could be coerced into becoming that person once, you could probably do it again, right? And maybe they have had some character growth. But I don't want to be the one to find out. Yeah, because it's just all the people who were really fucked up. I mean, I didn't get any apologies. I met people who like they've had their own growth, and they were like, oh, I can't believe I did what I did. But I'm pretty sure they probably are just like the people who didn't apologize to me, and they didn't apologize to the people who they fucked over. Like to the new people, they're like, "Oh man, I fucked up," but it's no, I'm sorry to mom and dad for wishing that they died or whatever the fuck they did. I think Rumble took down your Zionist and Cup vid, and the Cup vid, Zionist and the Cup vid. I don't know if that's a reference to something I don't get, but I don't get it. or maybe it's a typo. Yeah, Rumble. I am, I'm feeling what I feel for Rumble. It's a mixed bag. Um, One of the reasons why I got on Rumble was Glenn Greenwald, journalist I have a lot of respect for. He was talking about the Rumble's mission of not censoring people. It's like an alternative to YouTube, and um, like when I was in the midst of a lot of the censorship going on in YouTube, I put up a video that I know for sure had been censored off YouTube. Like you couldn't. Uh, um, it was a Rand Paul Senate hearing where he was just like questioning uh, a lot of the orthodoxies around the vaccine. And I noticed YouTube had started taking all that shit down. Like as soon as you uploaded it, it was like struck down. So like the first video I put on Rumble included the video that was being silenced on YouTube, and they didn't take it down. They may have suppressed it. They may have like different mechanisms of controlling like the how many people get to see it, and that's its own can of worms. But they didn't just take it down like YouTube would. And YouTube, they would suppress it too. They do the shadow banning and the algorithm. Like man, like they fucked me over. So it's like at one point when Nate's Vlogs was here, largest Nate on the internet. Like you type Nate in YouTube, it was like I was like the number one, and I was just moving up NAT, and I was just it was like a process. But I used to always love checking the search bar just to see how much I had moved up. I was like, yes. Then after they shut all that shit down, um, when I had Nateflix, you could type out my entire name, and it just became Netflix. As a matter of fact, you can see where my position on when it came to the Nates, because at that point it would just say Netflix instead of Nateflix. Uh, um, Yeah, and then it was like if you typed out my entire name, it was not just Netflix, and then it was like Nateflix or whatever. It was Netflix, and then Netflix recommendations alongside it, like Netflix shows. I was like, y'all are just fucking me over. This is like some crazy shit. Um, that's why it's just like if you just delete YouTube, that shit is run by the satanic cannibals. Like all of the founders of YouTube, they were on Epstein Island. They didn't release their cannibal videos on the platform, but they exist. Uh, your Netanyahu drowning in feces. Oh, you talking about the video I posted of him like being drowned in feces? That's still got to be up, or is that considered since it's a torture video? It's got to be up. It's got to be up. I'm gonna look into it. Are you anti-vaccinate? Uh, Anti-vax. I don't do vaccines personally. I would encourage people who are thinking of getting a vaccine to think again. Please do that. But if you were one of the people who was able to get a vaccine and I didn't know about it because you're like your personal belief is the vaccine is just for you and you don't need other people around you to get vaccinated for your vaccine to work, still don't do it. Because those people still got strokes and heart attacks and myocardia, uh, cancer, turbo cancers. No, no. Anti-vaccine. I, I, I just don't want the vaccines to exist. And it's just I like to be with someone who doesn't who's against them as well. someone who was just like, we have a kid, uh, and the doctors try to give them a bunch of vaccines that are like poison. They fight instead of just like, oh, okay, sure, yeah, whatever you say, doctor. Yeah, you push the opioid crisis. You got the fentanyl heads all in the streets because of your actions. Um, but I'm going to trust you on this one. Yeah, sure. I would like someone who questions that. Uh, um, but yeah, I don't know. Anti-vax, just it has connotations. I know I probably got vaccinated when I was a kid. Forced, like for going to school, and maybe that limited my potential. But yeah, no, I would. I'm not getting any flu vaccines. They bring out the monkeypox. Oh, and this is one of the things I was offered a six-figure position, which I had to say fuck no to. Because it was just like the company is one of those legacy uh, uh, um, organizations that people associate with black civil rights, but it is not. I like all of that shit. We really have to evaluate a lot of these organizations. That's NAACP. That's Urban League. That's whatever one you could think of. These ones that are getting millions and billions of dollars in grants and all that shit from some of the shadiest sources. But one of these organizations, they reached out. They had a bunch of high turnaround rate. People were just like leaving the job, and they wanted to bring in other people to replace the people who were leaving. Then one of the people who was like, making the job, presenting the job, he was telling me about the previous quarter. He's like, yeah, last quarter, these were our priorities. And he showed it to me. And he was like, the first priority was not the COVID vaccine. It was monkeypox vaccine. Like they would have these monkeypox parties. And they wanted to like, I would like bringing in like other people of color to like get them excited for a monkeypox vaccine. And then the second priority was the COVID boosters. And then the third priority was the COVID vaccine. So they would like, you hear about like them getting all this money for this organization, the civil rights organization. And what they do with the money to help their community is give them vaccines. So we see all of the suffering in the community. We see drugs plaguing the community. People are hunched over on fentanyl. A lot of those people are heroin addicts, meth addicts. And their solution is putting more needles into more people's arms. No, thank you. I don't want any part of that. I'm not going to have a monkeypox party. Turn up for the monkeypox. No, thank you. But I was funny enough. I was able to talk to someone who worked there. She thought I was like shitting on it. They brought it. It was like it's supposed to be a black organization, and all of this shit was started by Zionists. So NAACP. If you don't know the history of it, the founder, dude named Walter White. They say he looked white, but he was really black. But I think he was just a Zionist, and they needed an organization to compete against what W.E.B. Du Bois was about, like, because they used to always be at each other's heads because they had different visions. But yeah, the organization from its inception is questionable as a motherfucker. Same with Urban League. Same with like any pro-black organization that someone like Hillary Clinton can like. Yeah, I'm working with this company. They care about the black community, and so do I. Anything like that, it's just question it. Question the fuck out of it. It is not your friend. And especially if you hear like, oh, we're just getting soaked with extra money. We got these millions of dollars. That's them being co-opted, even if it started off as a noble, good idea. When you hear all of this money coming from these crazy, nefarious Epstein Island visitors, yeah, it's being corrupted. That's what the money is for. How's it going, Nate? I remember watching your channel way before COVID. Good to see you're still doing well. No one said I was doing well. Good for you for noticing. That must mean I'm not doing as bad as one might assume. Also, respect to the drip. The drip. Who told you about the drip? You've been talking to my doctor. What did my doctor say? What's dripping? What's dripping on me? Did he tell you what orifice? Was he specific? They really did mess you up. Nate's Vlogs was a great channel, even with Netflix. Yeah, man, they told me up, but uh, um, uh, alternatives. I mean, I'm waiting for the fall of YouTube, and right now, well, I don't want to wish any ill on anyone, but I used to know like the person who was in charge of the old YouTube. Like to the point where it's just like if I had any issues, I can like call her up, message her, have some stuff resolved relatively quickly. They moved the people around intentionally because like it was like certain people uh, who really made YouTube. Like it was certain personalities that people were showing up to YouTube. They were like getting away from all that uh, uh, TV and shit because they were coming for personalities that they really connected with. Then they brought those personalities to work with traditional media folks. Like they used to have bring me down to YouTube stuff to work with people like Matt Damon and these other major uh, uh, celebrities. Like I said, people were going to the internet to get away from. They had me promoting fucking what's that corny motherfucker Jimmy. Uh, he got censored. I ended up doing an employee evaluation, taking his shit down because he was just like rah rah. He was doing a puff piece on Hunter Biden. Um, he was on something called the Man Show. It's like a bunch of Jimmys on the show. It's not the motherfucker's not even creative. Kimmel, that's him. But yeah, that they had me doing shit like that for full screen. And then once they just had the original YouTube folks start to endorse uh, these people who they sought to replace us, then they just started just pulling back our algorithm because the algorithm at one point it favored engagement. Then it's just like they realize they can control it, like they can put whatever in front of your eyes that they want. And they had like imitators, people who just like they tried to steal the formula, none of the soul, and then they just took my channel down. People who used the platform for making people be critical thinkers, because we don't need critical thinkers. We need compliant motherfuckers who just like they get shown a syringe full of a mystery liquid. They inject it in their arms without questioning it. That's what we need. I was one of those people like, maybe it's not so good. The people who brought the opioid epidemic don't trust any more needles. Like let's question what's in those needles. Because I fully believe the next pandemic, the next vaccine is going to have like some OxyContin in it. They're going to have like something addictive. It's just going to be like fentanyl. You're just going to keep coming back for your boosters like every day. Like, you don't even need a booster every day. Like, no, I need it. I need my booster, bitch. And I think that's what's going to happen next. So just say no. Not even once. Or that girls weigh too much about their exes. Okay. Stories about the girl with gold tooth or when you were a badass kid. Fuck full screen days. Yeah. Yeah. Fuck full screen was a warning. And it's just like a lot of people, they didn't listen because full screen, like my content was an issue. My content was questioning a lot of the stuff that they were invested in. Right. But a lot of people, they were, in support of everything they were invested in, I was talking about the friend who got me signed to full screen, called him up. He had nothing but good things to say. Um, uh, because he was like celebrating a lot of the shit that I was criticizing. A lot of the rewinds and shit like that, me questioning uh, pedophile media like Power Rangers, child abduction and shit like that. He had nothing but glowing things to say about Power Rangers. He knew multiple Power Rangers personally. So full screen, they love that kind of shit. They bring him down to the all the premieres. I got invited to a few premieres and shit. But and then I would do a rewind. One of them, I did like that brought us out to watch Jurassic Park, the old one. Then I did a rewind on it. Yeah, and I just my view of everything was a lot more different than his. I'm more critical of it. But like he excelled. He didn't like run into the rails as many times as I did. So like he was on full screen up until full screen just got rid of everybody, all the creators. Then they just started just bringing in people who were auditioning for MSNBC or whatever the fuck, because they got bought up by AT&T. So like they had like a pool of actors who were just like they didn't need personalities. They needed compliant drones to just read whatever the fuck they put in front of them. And that's not well what they would call it my brand, but that's my brand is who I am. And it's just I have like a set of morals, and this is they tried to get me to compromise a lot of that shit. But yeah, I wasn't so compliant. And once they realized I wasn't willing to play ball, that's when we had nothing but issues. And then once I started like talking about my experience at the office, like the giving up people's names. Yeah, I was they went after me personally. Like it was all kinds of crazy shit. I couldn't get benefits. It was I had I tried to apply for benefits in California. They said that I had stock in Google that I didn't have. I was like, if I had this stock at that point, it was like over $1,000 per stock. And I was like, if I had this stock right now, why would I be applying for benefits? Why would I need food stamps and what the fuck? But it was like, I definitely felt targeted. Then I had all of my money seized when I was getting ready to leave the country back in 2017. It was crazy. Good times though. Lots of shit we watched years ago don't age so well as we get more PC. Well, I think it just doesn't age well once you realize the people who were writing it were creeps and they were just kind of flaunting a lot of the stuff that they were doing. Weird stuff. And you're just like, none of that shit made sense until like, oh, you realize who they were as a person. Like, okay. They were pedophiles. All right, that tracks. And well, and one of the funny things, in the newest rewind, it was a swordfish, which I actually shot like 2-3 years ago. I had issues with the editing on my computer. Took a break, but like if you look at it, it's like a house I had a while ago. But I ended up talking about how we need some ethical hackers because in the movie, one of the hackers played by Hugh Jackman, he he ended up taking this like $9 billion that was in a government program, and these terrorists the terrorists who work for the government wanted to be able to keep it and decide what to do with it so they could fund more terrorism. But he ended up taking the billions of dollars, and then he had it put into people's accounts. So it's like random people, they would have like $1 billion in their account for like a few minutes. And then it would like bounce around from account to account. And of course, when I see that, first thing that pops in my mind is that would be lovely. Like, who doesn't want to like just get a notification that you have like several $billion into your account, and it's just like, even if it's just like an hour to spend it, I can get creative. Like I see if I can buy a house, like any houses except like online payments. Transfer it to like my Cash App or something. I don't know. I figure something out. Or I mean, it's all kinds of like inventive ways of spending $1 billion. But yeah, I was like, man, why don't we have like ethical hackers do something like that right now? We need to have people, because it's a lot of these billionaires, especially we start talking about 100 billionaires. If you take all of their money over, let's say 10-ish million, like they won't notice it. 10 million, that's a $500,000 a year in interest. And a lot of them, I mean, they end up saving money. You never notice like someone who's 100 billionaire, like next year they have less money. That doesn't happen. Like that money is just always going to go up because you can live off of the interest. And when I say, how much interest, like a bare minimum, if you put that a 6-figure check deposit in your bank, they'll give you a interest maximizer account, which is going to go up automatically about 5%. So it's like, but then you have certain accounts that have higher yields. They also, sometimes have higher risk. But then higher risk to you and I is different from like a billionaire, because when they buy politicians, the risk goes down to zero because, like they get on that Nancy Pelosi track where it's just like, I know what stocks are going to go up because I corrupted the system. So it's like, I know this stock is going to go up because I bought up all the people who I need to buy for it to go up. And then it's beyond just the 5%, right? So we're talking like 30% returns. So, I mean, or even higher. So that's why I want, it's just kind of crazy to just say they only get that 5%, because it gets much higher because they're just corrupting the system even more. But regardless, you take all of their money. If they got 100 billion, you take 99 billion, right? They're not going to notice. Their lifestyle is not going to change at all. None of them are ever plan on spending $1 billion. Elon Musk, they say he spent 44 billion to buy Twitter. He shouldn't have been able to do that. I mean, he could have wiped out hunger and wiped out homelessness in the country. He did not. He brought up our free speech. Now he gets to decide will we get to say or not, right? On a platform he did not create. We should have been like, that's our money that he's buying it with. So how about we kick out all the Mossad agents, all the MI6 agents, all the people who are telling us what we can't say, and we have just guaranteed free speech for everybody. That's what we should be doing. And it's just like the algorithm shouldn't favor a bunch of corporations that are lying to us. We have an algorithm that just caters to good content, engaging content. And if someone has anything negative to say, they can be racist, they can be ignorant as fuck. You don't censor them. You give other people the ability to respond to them. Right? We don't silence people. And we do this shit for every platform. I mean, that's what it should be. That's what YouTube used to be. Oh man, I missed the time when I first started on YouTube, you had the ability to respond directly to a video. So people often said just some of the most racist, ignorant shit, right? But then I could see their racist, ignorant shit and be like, hey, you're wrong here, here, here. And I can make a response video and post that directly to their video. And then it'd be like the people who are watching it, they'll get to be the judge. That's like what public discourse is supposed to be. Yeah, you don't respond to wrong speech with censorship. You correct the person. You know, if you censor, then you can just push the whole conversation underground. So that you have the people being wrong with other people who are being wrong, and it's just none of it is ever analyzed or evaluated. And people just like, well, they censored us, so we must be right. I know when I get censored, I'm like, yeah, I got censored for a reason because I was correct. They didn't have a response, and fuck, I mean, prove me wrong. Everything. It was like people talking about conspiracy theorists now that the Epstein files are released, and we've been proven right. And it's just like gloating posts. People just like, yeah, I was right about this, right about that, and it's just like, yeah, that's more or less how it feels. But it's just like it's never acknowledged. The lifestyle that I was able to afford. They're not giving me my channels back. They're not giving me my revenues back. And it's just like the garbage people. They still get elevated until we like really adjust the incentive structure. Like we're just going to continue to get garbage in, garbage out, because people are just going to be like it's like $7,000 per post if you want to lie and shill for Israel. But if you question any of that shit, you question their government, you question the American government, you question any of these Epstein latent governments, it's just like you're the problem. You get shut down. That's a discussion they do not want to have. Get rid of it so there's no chance of building or bandwagon, like getting rid of like dislike counter. Oh man, yeah, they used to, and that's one thing I used to love about the YouTube as well, because you used to be able to see instead of just like dislike, you had stars. So, you there were a few people, myself included. I had multiple videos that were 5 stars. Now, for you to have 5 stars, you have to have nothing but 5-star reviews. So, I mean, someone come there and they just, because if you get one person, you have 1 million 5 stars. One person comes by and gives you a 4-star, like your whole thing goes down to a 4-star. So it's like, I had multiple videos that had 5 stars, and I was like, I took pride in that shit. It was like, even years after the video was released, it'll still have 5 stars. Like, people respect it. Like, I still get new people coming and like, I'm not going to fuck up that 5-star rating. I'm like, yes. I was like, grateful. Then they switched it to thumbs up or thumbs down. That shit pissed me off. And it's like, I don't even know how they calculated. So you just started all over. So if you have 5-star, thousands of people giving you 5 stars, and now do those just get turned into thumbs up, or do you just get a 0? And now it's just like people give you thumbs up or thumbs down. It was stupid and convoluted. And yeah, I YouTube, uh, Google buying YouTube was like, it was one of the worst things that happened. It seemed like a good thing in the beginning because, AdSense came, but they were just softening us up to just for the takeover, right? And yeah, the real ones, like they just figured out who we were. I even had like a conversation. This was after um, I lost Nate's vlogs. But then I was like, still getting reached out, like YouTube officials were reaching out to me about my Nateflix channel. They were like, hey, we like what you're doing. You got this engagement here. And it's like, we want to figure out how we can like help you grow. And I was talking to one of the people. They were like, yeah, dude, what is your goal? Is your goal like really just to try to change stuff, or do you really want to get paid? And I was like, I like to see some stuff change. Uh, um, and I think that was like the test, because it's just I mean, both my parents were poisoned by military bases that they worked for, so it's like money. I feel like uh, that's how we get fucked over, like when we just singularly like our focus is on money, and we lose sight of like what we're actually here to do. Because I got a lot of family. The richest of the family, they'll in the pursuit of money, they'll destroy the family. So because I had like multiple family members who had a sizable amount of money and property, and as soon as they died, the greediest family, who's usually the family with the most money, they view the poor people like they don't deserve it. They're more entitled to the money that they didn't make, and they'll destroy the family to get it. So it's like, I have a different understanding of money. Um, and shit, before I even got into YouTube and TV and all that shit, I was already getting 6-figure checks, and I just, money wasn't uh, uh, my jam like that. It's just like I was viewed as a free lunch by certain people, and I was already questioning a lot of stuff. And that's why I feel bad for like a lot of the people coming up, because their first experience with money is getting into entertainment being used as a tool against their own community. And that's why I got to forgive people, because they're lost at the end of the day. And then one of the people who was calling me, we were having this back and forth on email, uh, and then she was talking about how she wanted to help with I think it was my Nate's Turn channel, uh, um, and then I was like, yeah, can we just do something? Can we have a discussion about what happened to my Nate's Vlog channel? And she didn't know what I was talking about. I was like, yeah, it's a channel I lost back in 2014. It was censored, and I still haven't been told why or what happened. And then um, she was like, yeah, I'm gonna look into it, and then never responded to me after that. I was like, okay. Now I think that's when it was just like, it was like, do not disturb on this particular person. Speak of family, how's Goopy Chew? Your cousin. Oh man, that's old school. I think that was his name. Yeah, that's what certain people called him. Man, it's been a while. Uh, yeah, I was trying to reach out a few times, but he changed his number multiple times, and it's a long story about why that is. But yeah, it's been a while. I was like, it's a family function coming up in that area, and I'm gonna try to make it. I'm a, I gotta get my yaper up. Yeah, so it's a lot of funding is required, back funding and forward front funding. But yeah, I gotta save up. If there's anybody out there got a spare million, feel free to let me have it. Like, put it to use, but before the economy crashes, that million is going to be worthless very shortly. So you might as well donate it before it's worth a loaf of bread, and then I could use it. Get caught up on some stuff. Um, I don't know, but yeah, just shoot me $1 million, and you get a personalized NFT, uh, NFT of a Labubu. I got a Labubu NFT I could send you for only $1 million. A Labubu Nateflix NFT. You will be thankful. Sorry to hear that, bro. Oh man, Nate's vlogs was the best. Yeah. Well, someone was asking about Kick. So I started a Kick account, and Nateflix was taken. These imposters. But I was able to get Nate's vlogs. So Nate's vlogs on Kick, I was going to stream simultaneously with this one, but it was like a whole issue, and I just decided to give up. I'm gonna figure it out for one of the upcoming streams. But yeah, it'll be kick.com/Nateflix or something to that extent, or Nate's vlogs. Nate's vlogs. Yeah. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, we do have some stuff to take care of. So I'm going to be hopping off now, but I do want to reconnect with you guys shortly. And if the government tries to recruit you to fight for the pedophiles army, say no. Say, why don't we get the pedophile in chief to go to the front lines without a weapon, send them off to Iran, and as well as anybody who's in the Epstein list more than you. That's the new law. If you get asked to be drafted, you can request that someone who's mentioned in Epstein files more times than you, they get pushed to the front of lines. That sounds fair. It seems fair, yeah. And then all of the people who are in the Epstein files more than you, when they get pushed to the front of lines, as soon as they get killed or captured, they're not going to be able to suggest any more wars. So problem solved, right? So let's make that a thing. And yeah, don't fight the pedophiles' wars. Be good to each other. Peace.